Good evening, peeps. Good evening. How's everyone doing? Hopefully all doing very, very well. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're close to 25,000 subscribers, peeps, which is a nice little milestone, isn't it? So yeah, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and don't forget to like and share the vids as well. All right, let's get into this video. Before that though, let's have a quick drink. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. I think I've worked something like 14 days in a row. But you know what? I asked for this. I asked for this work. I prayed for this work. So I'm not going to complain now. You know what I was thinking? The last few weeks, I think I even made a video about it. I've been thinking about who's going to be the next big boxing superstar over here. So when I say boxing superstar, I don't necessarily mean someone that's going to go on to dominate world boxing or win world titles even. I mean someone that's just going to move the needle a little bit. So someone that the casual fans are going to get behind, someone that's going to sell out arenas. So you don't need to be a world elite level boxer to do that in this country. I think we've seen that in the past. I think we've seen fighters like Derek Chisora, right? Derek Chisora is a good fighter. He's not world elite level, but Derek Chisora can sell at the O2 Arena. Derek Chisora can sell pay-per-views. Other fighters in the past as well, like Anthony Crolla has sold out the MEN Arena, right? Anthony Crolla is not a world elite level fighter. Yes, Anthony Crolla won a world title, but he's not, I don't think, an elite level fighter, nor was Tony Bellew, but they were able to kind of garner a lot of public interest, right? They were able to kind of just get people invested in them. So I was thinking, who's that gonna be? And I thought about it more when I saw Kell Brook get beat by Terence Crawford, because that Kell Brook fight made me kind of feel like that's an era, we're kind of going into a new era now, right? Those are kind of the old school fighters that are going to retire in a couple of years. Who's going to be that next fighter? And I was watching an interview with Kugan Cassius and Connor Benn. And you've probably seen it. If you haven't seen it, go onto IFL TV's page or just go onto Kugan's Twitter page. It's up there. And at the end of the interview, they're talking about just things, right? They're talking about Samuel Vargas, who Connor Benn's going to fight next. And they ask, I think Kugan asked Connor if you want to say anything. And Connor proceeds to speak Spanish. And I was like, that's a fucking needle mover right there. To me, it's like he just cut a promo right there. And I'm big on those cutting promos just because when I was young, I used to be a massive WWF and WWE fan. And I think promos are everything for fighters. Conor McGregor's taken promos to another level. He did. Floyd took it to another level, right? These are the two of the highest paid fighters in the history of the sport, right? MMA and boxing. So I was thinking, when Conor done that, that was like, for me, a promo. He done that after his last fight as well. I think after his last fight, he done an interview outside the ring. And he just reminded me of his dad so badly. That kind of, I don't know what it is. He's got this anger in him that I will fight anyone. And again, I'm not trying to say Connor Benn's going to be the next superstar and win world titles. I don't think Connor Benn's going to do that. I have to be honest with you. But I think Connor Benn is going to be a guy that in his next couple of fights, if they match him right, is going to sell at the O2 Arena just like that. When fans are back, of course. He's going to be that guy. He's going to be the next superstar over here, if they can match him right. Obviously, if they put him in against a killer and he gets smashed, he could get smashed by Vargas, by the way. But if they kind of overreach and put him with someone that he shouldn't be in with, then it might die. It might die. It might. I say might because, again, Chisora reminds me of someone that was beat and kept him coming back again. But it might die. But I don't think it will die. I think they're going to match him correctly. And I think he's going to be that next star. I was thinking of people like Buatsi. And I just don't think the British public are going to get behind Buatsi just because he doesn't have much of a personality. I don't mind that, by the way. I like that about Buatsi. I've said this before. He reminds me of a bit of a 70s throwback fighter who does his talking in the ring, right? I don't think they're going to get behind Okolie, for example. Okolie's going to go on, I think, to win a world title, maybe a couple of world titles. I don't think they're going to get behind him, though, like that. I think they're going to get behind Connor Benn. Obviously, it helps when your dad's Nigel Benn. But if you're shit, if you can't cut a promo, your dad could be fucking, I don't know, Muhammad Ali isn't going to help you. You've got to deliver, and he's delivering. He's delivering right now in the ring. His last performance was pretty good, right? Dominated a guy that went out there with and fought Sean Porter. Wasn't a great fighter, but dominated him. And now that promos that he's cutting, I like it. I think fighters don't know how to sell themselves. Conor Benn certainly knows how to sell himself, and it was fantastic. If I'm Eddie Hearn, and I don't know if that was preempted, I don't know if that was planned, but if I'm Eddie Hearn watching that, watching my fighter switch and speak Spanish, and I'm guessing he knows how to speak Spanish because Nigel lived over in Spain for a period. I'm guessing that's where it's from. I'm guessing, I don't know. But it was just genius. Genius. I mean, it was fucking fantastic. I was so excited and I was like, sold. Whatever you're selling, Conor, I bought it. That's it. So Conor, for me, is that next British star. He really is. If Kelly can beat Avanesian and Conor Benn can get past Vargas and beat Kelly, then it's hook, line and sinker. He's the next guy. So those are the two. That's how close he is, I think, to becoming that next star. Right now, even if he were to lose to Vargas, he'll still be a guy that can sell tickets because he's Conor Benn. He'll put on fights. But if he can smoke Vargas, so knock him out, and then beat Kelly, then all bets are off. We have a superstar. We really do. Again, understand what I'm saying, people, before people jump at me. I'm not saying he's going to be the star that's going to go and become world champion. That doesn't even necessarily mean you're a star anymore. Callum Smith was a world champion, not a star. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't mean you're a star. Terry Flanagan, world champion. Liam Smith, world champion. That doesn't equate to stardom. Stardom is a guy that can move the needle, sell tickets, and eventually sell pay-per-views. He will sell tickets, and if he gets to a level where he's fighting decent level fights, he'll sell pay-per-views as well. Conor Benn, people, is that star. You know what I want to talk about? And I'm going to go through my list of subjects, as I normally do. What I want to talk about, hopefully I can find the story. It was about Eddie Hearn, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. And it annoyed the hell out of me. Basically, I need to find this story. It's going to bug me. Okay, this is it. So Eddie Hearn was talking about the second fight, like we've already had the first one. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here, Eddie. But he's talking about the second fight possibly being in Cardiff. He says it's very unlikely, but he's saying the reason he's saying Cardiff as opposed to Wembley, because he's saying he wants the second fight to be over here, and he wanted the biggest stadium with a roof. Cardiff's got that. But what he said was it's very unlikely to happen just because of the financials, which we know, right? We understand that they can get paid more money taking this fight abroad. But this is the line that kind of bugged me and I didn't like a bit. Let me see if I can find it. I'm going to read it out. I don't normally do this. Okay. Hearn believes the winning bid for the fight will probably be from a country whose government is happy to back the event financially. And he says, this is Eddie Hearn. This is not me this is what he said word for word. To stage this fight, you're going to need significant government support, he said. I don't think a major gate alone will be enough. And this is the problem with the US, where we could do a huge gate. It needs to be bigger than that. It's going to be difficult for a country that doesn't have financial support from the government to land an event like this. You need someone who is going to stage the fight as a statement for their country, for exposure for their country, to showcase tourism and to showcase they're up and running as a nation. That, ladies and gentlemen, is bullshit. I'm not having that. Let's not act like this is the first big fight we've ever seen in our lives. Right? Yeah, I mean, sorry, no. Boxing can't get to this. It can't get to this. I understand you want to go Saudi Arabia and make the money. I get it. But let's not act like this is going to be the biggest fight of all time, because it's not going to be. I'm sorry, a fight, like, government has to back a boxing match? What? A country's government has to back it? No, it shouldn't get to that. It should get to the stage like every other big fight we've ever seen, apart from the ones that did go abroad. So the Thriller in Manila, I'm sure the government didn't back that. and Rumble in the Jungle, which did get a bit of government backing. But every other big fight we've seen has been pay-per-view based and gate receipts. Like, are the fighters being that greedy now? Is it got to a stage where they're just being too greedy? Because maybe it's got to that stage where both of them are like, I want 100 million each. And maybe it's a case of, well, if you want 100 million each, we might have a problem because unless the fucking fight does 20 million pay-per-view buys, I mean, do you know what I mean? It's got to that, like, unless the fight does a ridiculous amount of pay-per-view buys and the gate is something astronomical, it isn't going to make that much. So I wonder if both fighters, and look, I've said both fighters should get their money, but I do wonder if both of the fighters are being far too greedy, and not just the fighters, but everyone around them. So all the networks that are getting involved and the promoters and the managers have just been too greedy. I mean, they're asking countries, government, to put up the money for a fight. I've been, like, say for example, if they're saying Saudi Arabia should put up the money for the fight, yeah, I've been to Saudi. I mean, Rob Tebet and a couple of people, we went off the beaten track in Saudi, and we saw a side of Saudi that wasn't glitz and glamour. We saw a very poor, rundown side. I would rather the government put the fucking money in that area and fix that shit up, rather than support a boxing match. Maybe I'm just thinking wrong here, but I'm sorry. The fighters should get a guarantee, and then the rest should be a case of whatever the fight makes on pay-per-view. That's it. That's it. It's getting silly now when you're talking about a government has to back a boxing match to show that it really is a country that's up and running as a nation. No. Bullshit. Fighters make like a nice amount of money, gate receipts, pay-per-view revenue, and plus how the fight is then bought in different territories. That's it. I think both fighters now and everyone involved just being too greedy. I mean, look at the places they're talking about as places that might have interest in watching it. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Dubai, Abu Dhabi. Come on, man. It's getting silly. Hope that made sense. Apologies if it didn't, but just like, come on. I mean, don't act like we haven't seen big fights before. Do you know what I mean? Like Pac-Man, Mayweather, McGregor, Mayweather, Lewis Tyson. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Evander Holyfield, Tyson, Oscar De La Hoya, Mayweather, even Oscar De La Hoya, B-Hop. You know? Jeez. All right. Hopefully that made sense. Did that make sense? I don't know. Follow me on Instagram, please. I'm doing that because I think I'm going to put the name below. Probably won't. But follow me on Instagram. We're close to 3,000. I need to hit 3,000 people or I owe someone some money. All right. Usyk versus Joyce clash is being discussed, says Frank Warren. Is it? Is it really? Let's hope it does. Let's hope it is. But is it being discussed? Is it? I don't know. Let's hope anyway. Samuel Vargas aims to... By the way, hopefully Frank Warren's on the mend. I did read that Frank Warren was struck down with COVID as well, had to spend some time in hospital. Fingers crossed he's on the mend. Samuel Vargas aims to use experience to shock Connor Benn. That's the way he's going to win. Vastly more experienced than Connor Benn. So we'll see. Been in much bigger fights than Connor Benn, right? Should not be afraid of Connor Benn. So we'll see what he can do. Furman to Arum. I've seen Bob, Arum and Furman are kind of going back and forth, or Furman's going back and forth with Arum. Stop talking shit. It's not my fault you can't afford fight for Crawford. I don't know what it is about me and Furman. Not me like he fucking knows who I am. But I just don't have this... something about Furman, it just doesn't sit well with me. I don't know what it is. I think it's because when he was coming back, I think they was asking questions about Errol Spence, and his responses were just really like, ugh. Like he clearly didn't want the fight, put it that way. And now he's talking about maybe being not paid enough to fight Crawford or some bullshit. I'm tired of Furman, to be honest with you. What else have we got? Have we got anything else that is interesting? Dominic Brazil vows to blast out Otto Wallin with huge knockout. Okay. I didn't even know that fight was happening. Good little fight, that one. Dominic Brazil hasn't fought, I don't think, since getting blasted out himself by Deontay Wilder. Getting on a bit is Dominic Brazil. But again, I said this is the greatest time to be a heavyweight. That's a fun fight. Otto Wallin, Dominic Brazil is a fun fight. The winner of that one then goes on to more. It's a great time to be a heavyweight. Anyone in the top 30 right now can, like, there's so many exciting matchups. And I'm like, what I meant to say is, like, you could be number 30 and you're still going to get in good fights. There's so many fantastic matchups. I think Helenius Kaunaki is coming up as well. That's been rearranged, I think, for early March, I heard. Another great fight. Helenius caused the upset last time. Kaunaki wants revenge. So many great fights coming up in the heavyweight division. It isn't always about, obviously, all we care about is Fury, Joshua, but there's so many to make. It's unbelievable. Let's hope we can make them. What we got here? Talks progress for Canelo Alvarez to move forward with Matchroom / DAZN. So basically, all he did was get rid of Oscar. That's all he did. I mean, how weird that you've gone to court. I don't remember seeing the transcript of it, so I don't know the ins and outs of the court situation, but he basically did go to court though, right, to kind of get out of his DAZN contract and his Golden Boy contract. Got rid of Eddie, has literally gone back to Golden Boy a few months later to fight Callum Smith, and now they're talking about moving forward with another deal for him. How strange. A bit more about this Joshua Fury Hearn thing. Not accepting that crap about a government has to put money up. Nonsense. Because it will help boost tourism with AJ fight. It doesn't work like that. Honestly, it doesn't work like that. Buddy McGirt predicts Shakur Stevenson gets KO'd by Female Lopez. Ooh, I like it. I did say that, like, 135 is good, but it's going to be even better soon. I expect Miguel Bichelt to beat Oscar Valdez, jump up. I expect Shakur Stevenson. Maybe if Jamal Herring beats Carl Frampton to stay around to get Jamal Herring fight, even though I don't think Jamal Herring will stay around. I think Jamal Herring, win or lose, will retire. But if not, he'll jump to 135 soon as well. It's going to be interesting, that division. Going to be interesting. What we got here? Oh, this is a bit interesting. Josh Warrington may vacate IBF title and fight Gary Russell Jr. I've got to click into this story. I don't normally click into the stories, but I've got to click into this one and just quickly read. Is that Eddie Hearn saying this? Yeah, it's Eddie Hearn saying it. Eddie Hearn saying that he might vacate. So basically what's going on here is that Kid Galahad is the mandatory, and Eddie's saying that if, it's weird because Eddie promotes both, but Eddie's saying that if he's forced to fight his mandatory, he might vacate and just rather go to a Gary Russell Jr. fight. Problem is about that is that how attractive is a Gary Russell Jr. fight if Josh Warrington doesn't have an IBF belt, doesn't have a world title? I think it's an attraction if he has a world title. Without it, I'm not quite sure. So we'll see if that one plays out. I doubt he vacates. You don't work as hard as he has, beat Lee Selby for the belt, and then just vacate it. I don't think it works like that, if I'm honest with you. A bit here about Teofimo Lopez. Now he is trying to get a deal to fight Cambosos. Is it Cambosos? Cambosos. But I don't know what's happened. For some reason, this is stalling a little bit. He's saying if it doesn't happen, he wants Haney, Garcia, or Davis. He keeps not mentioning Loma. It's like he doesn't want anything to do with that rematch. It's not because he's scared or anything. I just feel like he was so upset with how the negotiations went first time round. He's now thinking he doesn't want to go through that again. Doesn't want to give Loma an opportunity. Yeah, we'll see. That's nice. Bit of monkey shoulder, that was. Couple of boring stories here. Chris Eubank Jr. has Golovkin as #1 target on list. Boring. It was exciting 3-4 years ago when Kell Brook fought him. Now, you know what I mean? It's all like all these people calling out Golovkin. I remember when Golovkin was in his peak and no one wanted work. No one wanted work. Canelo didn't want work. Vacated the belt. Miguel Cotto, that embarrassing interview with Max Kellerman. Billy Joe Saunders didn't want work. Danny Jacobs. I remember an interview where Danny Jacobs was talking about the fight. Danny Jacobs was doing media for American TV prior to Golovkin fighting Kell Brook, and they asked him, and he was like, he's kind of scared. Not scared, but he didn't want the fight. Carl Froch. I remember all of this. Didn't want smoke. The only person that was really talking about smoke with him was Andre Ward. That was the only person. Now all of a sudden they all want smoke. Wimps. What's this? All right, last bit. Hearn. If both win their fight, expect Josh Kelly versus Connor Benn in 2021. Said this. That's the one. It's going to be a big fight, and it will sell out the O2 Arena. It could even sell out an arena in Newcastle, or that area anyway. But it's more likely to be down here. Mark my words about Connor Benn. It's not like I'm fucking Mystic Meg here. I'm not saying something you probably already don't know. Connor Benn will be a superstar if he can go through 2021 unbeaten. That's a tough ask. I think even if he loses a good fight to Josh Kelly, for example, I still think he will be there or thereabouts. But if he can beat Samuel Vargas and then beat Josh Kelly, he is the next superstar from this country. Whether or not that transcends over to big fights in America, I don't know. But in terms of big fights over here, he is the next guy. By far, by the way. Peace and love.